Coming up on Eagle Vision News, we'll take you to the latest Los Angeles rally.
And we will give you updates on the officer-involved shooting in Whittier.
Also, a major change is coming to one of the dorms on campus.
All this and more coming up on Eagle Vision News.
Welcome to Eagle Vision News. I'm Autumn Kahn.
And I'm Dallas Dickinson. Our top stories this week. A deadly officer-involved shooting in Whittier, California took place on Monday morning. At approximately 8 a.m. on Monday, 2 Whittier police officers were fired upon near Colima Road and Mar Vista Street as they responded to a traffic collision. The shooter, a gang member who was driving a stolen car, got into an accident, and when police arrived at the scene, he opened fire with a semi-automatic pistol. The officers returned fire and injured the shooter, and he was taken to County USC Medical Center for treatment. His condition is unknown. Both officers were taken to UC Irvine Medical Center with injuries, where Officer Keith Boyer was pronounced dead. The other officer remains in stable condition.
A 13-year-old girl from Irvine is recovering after a tree fell on her during the storm on Friday. Teresa Johnson was headed to her neighbor's house when a 40-foot tree fell on her. It fell around 5 p.m. and crushed her skull in multiple places. Johnson was found and immediately rushed to the hospital, where she was put into a medically induced coma. She is now recovering from a 5-hour-long brain surgery. If Johnson responds well, doctors will start neurological assessments.
A major change for the Los Angeles Lakers front office took place on Tuesday. The struggling team has fired general manager Mitch Kupchak as well as vice president of basketball operations Jim Buss, and promoted former Laker and NBA Hall of Famer Earvin Magic Johnson to president of basketball operations for the organization. With 49 combined years of experience in the Lakers front office, the firing of Kupchak and Buss comes as a shock to the basketball world, but may be a necessary risk to take considering the team's struggles in the last 4 years. Johnson now has a virtual monopoly on Los Angeles sports, as he will retain his role as part owner of the Los Angeles Dodgers in addition to his new job with the Lakers.
The Oscars are this weekend, and as glamorous as that will be, the traffic around Hollywood may be quite awful. Road closures around the event will begin early Sunday morning. Once the Oscars begin, all roads within a 3-block radius of Dolby Theater will be closed. The sidewalks and crosswalks on Hollywood Boulevard between Highland and Orange will also be closed on Sunday. Pedestrians will be rerouted around Hollywood. Most roads will reopen on the 27th, but all lanes of Hollywood Boulevard between Orange and Highland will be closed until March 3rd due to 2 movie premieres.
So we have the opportunity to be here at Biola, which is right near Los Angeles, especially downtown, a place where a lot of activism has happened recently. Autumn, you went to one of those events, the Free the People March this weekend. How did that go?
I did. And you know what? The most striking thing about the rally was the turnout.
Wow.
So many people. Let's go ahead and take a look at how that event went. These are the beats of a Native American tribe who gathered in Los Angeles for the Free the People protest on Saturday. They are one of many people groups who feel marginalized by President Donald Trump's new foreign policies.
My parents are both immigrants. They came from North Africa a while ago. In other countries, the education's not as good as it is here, so I feel like America's been good to us that way.
Perfect. I'm at City Hall right now in downtown LA, where there are multiple people speaking and sharing their stories. If you take a look behind me, you can see the speakers are right there in the center, along with thousands and thousands of people here to fight for what they believe in. Protests started around 11 a.m. with a mini rally at Pershing Square. Protesters met and heard stories from many different immigrants around the world.
Nation is for all people, for all women, not just select few. Thank you.
Many reasons why people marched, but they all had one goal in the long run.
Not letting people in who are actually the backbone of this country in a lot of ways, who pay billions and billions of dollars into taxes, who don't ever see it.
Diversity is the core of this country, and most of my friends are of all different backgrounds and ethnicities, and I couldn't see living here without that.
The march ended at City Hall with a rally to free the people. The rally closed with a declaration for the people, which demanded that Los Angeles become a sanctuary city. Many generations of immigrants participated at this march. The protest was peaceful and nonviolent. This is Autumn Kahn, Eagle Vision News.
Seemed like a very politically charged event there. A great opportunity to go to that.
It was, and I really, really enjoyed myself. It was a great day.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of politics, we have David O here with us today to give us an update on what's going on in the political world. David?
Thanks, Dallas. The Day Without Immigrants protest backfires on the participants as 21 workers in South Carolina are fired from failing to come into work. February 16th marked the calendar for the Hispanic community as the protest called immigrants not to come into work for a day, to show just how much immigrants contribute to the American workforce. This protest followed President Donald Trump's recent orders on immigration. The protest closed shops and restaurants across the country, and some business owners were less than supportive of the surprising no-show. As a result, dozens of workers across the country were fired for not coming to work, including the 21 boat builders in South Carolina, who view their employer's decision as unfair and infringing on their First Amendment right for free speech. Ashton Kutcher's anti-trafficking organization frees over 2,000 children over the past 6 months. The 39-year-old actor spoke to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee on Wednesday, calling for an increased effort to tackle child sex slavery. During his impassioned 15-minute opening statement, Ashton praised the committee for their bipartisan effort to combat human trafficking and recalled instances of sex tourism and child rape that he has dealt with in his fight against slavery. With his voice cracking from emotion, Kutcher called his speech before the Senate one of the greatest honors of his life. His company, Thorn, founded in 2009, has freed over 6,000 children since its conception and continues to make leaps in the technological anti-trafficking sphere. PewDiePie, the most successful YouTuber in history with over 53 million subscribers, loses his Disney partnership, Google Premium ads, and his reality TV series over anti-Semitic comments. The 27-year-old entrepreneur, with a net worth of over $100 million, posted several controversial videos showing 2 Indian men holding a sign that read "Death to all Jews." PewDiePie also paid a man to dress up as Jesus Christ and post a video saying Hitler did absolutely nothing wrong. In response to the investigation by the Wall Street Journal and uproar from social media, PewDiePie claimed that these videos were an artistic comment on the absurdity of today's culture, where people would be willing to be Nazis for only a few extra dollars. Despite his right to exercise in such free speech, the YouTuber did not come out of the situation unscathed, as his partnering companies were perhaps not as amused by such commentary as he had hoped.
Thanks, David. This weekend, SCORE Conference took over campus with speakers, workshops, and performances. Reporter Bobby Terrell has the story.
Biola strikes again with another successful annual student congress on racial reconciliation, this year being their 21st. SCORE Conference, a highly impactful event, was formed with the intention of changing hearts and challenging comfort zones.
Every year, Biola has artists showcase whatever theme there may be for SCORE Conference. This year, Repairs of the Breach.
The SCORE Conference presents speakers to educate the attendees, but there are also networking hangouts, poets, and plenty of people from around the world to meet. Participants can engage in new forms of worship as well as reflect on the workshops that they attended while digesting the knowledge of it all with some complimentary refreshments and snacks. With so much to learn about racial strife and so many questions about how our nation can begin to repair the breach, there was little room for boredom at this powerful.
We're talking about some topics about social injustice, racial reconciliation that the body of Christ has unfortunately failed to address. And I think that SCORE Conference allows college students to engage in that conversation because we're learning how to engage in the world. You can't engage in the world without learning how to love on people who are different from you.
As the university continues to push its students toward the goal of the kingdom, events like SCORE take a stand in advocating for reparation of a broken world. You wouldn't want to miss the next one. This is Bobby Terrell with Eagle Vision News.
Thanks, Bobby. Now, I don't know about you guys, but my favorite time of year is when the Girl Scouts start selling their cookies. I'm partial to Thin Mints myself. I don't know about you guys.
Caramel Delights are literally my stress relief. But, I guess not everyone has the same appreciation for Girl Scout cookies as we do. And we have Madison here to give us more details on that. Maddie?
That's right. Has selling Girl Scout cookies become a dangerous activity? Recently, numerous Girl Scout troops across the country have been reported being robbed. A troop in Colorado had their boxes of cookies stolen, while another troop in Texas fought back against their set alleged robbers. Similar events have also happened in Pennsylvania and California. Not all of these robberies ended in heartbreak, however, as we learned from the heartwarming story out of Union City, California. On February 8th, around 5 p.m., a 12-year-old girl and her mother were held up at gunpoint in front of their local Safeway while selling Girl Scout cookies. The alleged robber pulled out a handgun and held it up to the mother's face. He demanded for the money they had made that day from selling cookies. It took off running after he took the money. When the city heard of what had happened, Sergeant Stephen Mendez and other officers found it in their hearts and wallets to raise the donations for the little girl's troop. The donations added up to a whopping $1,000.
Thanks, Madison.
You know, I live in Stewart Hall here on campus, and I love it there. But the worst part about it is that the male residents don't have air conditioning.
That sounds like a real struggle.
Especially in the summer months here in Southern California.
man.
However, that is all about to change. Reporter Seth Supt has the details on this Eagle Vision exclusive.
Character, community, and sharing a love for Christ are a few of the many reasons Stewart Hall residents say they chose the dorm as their home. But for over 50 years now, the men of Stewart Quads have suffered through living in the dark ages of temperature control. While the girls across the courtyard have had air conditioning for years now, the guys were never given such a luxury. And now it's made the hot and humid months of the year a constant struggle to beat the heat.
For years now in the guys' dorms, the only form of air conditioning has been ceiling fans, desk fans, and in almost every room you visit, a box fan.
For the most part, it's kind of an oven in there. You have to have one or multiple fans going at any point in time to stay cool, especially if you're not used to the heat.
It gets really hot in the summer, and you have to have really noisy fans, and even then they don't really do that much.
Living here is pretty difficult, and you end up having to purchase fans, etc., on your own dime just to be able to get by.
Relief will come in the form of brand new AC units for the fall 2017 members of the Stewart community. For Eagle Vision News, I'm Seth Supt.
So we thought that we might be able to get out of this rainy season this weekend with some sun, going along with this cooler weather we've been having, but it looks like that's not going to be the case. We have Grace here to tell us about that. Grace, what's up?
Well, it's looking like we're not going to get out of the rainy weather this weekend.
Wow.
Behind me, you're going to catch a glimpse of Lake Tahoe. Earlier this week, they did experience a severe winter weather condition that resulted in several feet of snowfall. So it's looking like it's just going to continue on through the weekend. So if you are planning on traveling up north this weekend, just keep in mind that you're going to want to bundle up and bring chains for your snow tires, because chances are you are going to encounter a lot of that snow. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the current weather conditions here in La Mirada. This morning we experienced cool conditions around 51 degrees, which soon warmed up to 61 in the afternoon, only to drop back down to 50 degrees this evening. The sunrise breached our skies this morning at 6:30 a.m. and the sun set around 5:43 p.m. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the weather conditions across the nation. While Southern California experienced highs in the lower 60s today, you'll notice a cold spell drifting across the Pacific Northwest and drifting down into our area, the conditions of which we will experience later on this week. It's always sunny in Florida, as the Miami and Palm Beach area experienced highs in the lower 70s, with southern Texas experiencing the hottest temperatures of the day today at 74 and 76 degrees. With that, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the 7-day forecast for the week. You'll notice that we experienced sunny conditions yesterday and today, but the cold conditions are expected to return this weekend just in time for the Oscars this upcoming Sunday, where we are anticipating to receive anywhere from an inch to a half inch of rainfall all across the Los Angeles area. The cold showers will continue on to the beginning of next week, so needless to say, the cold weather conditions are not over yet, so don't forget to bundle up and bring your umbrella as you embark on your weekend.
Thanks, Grace. We all know that sometimes we need to get off campus on the weekends. Dallas and I had this great idea that we would bring you a fun local event every week. These events could be multiple different things, such as galleries, races, or musical performances.
Right, so this weekend you can go watch the 3rd annual ping pong tournament at Roscoe's in Fullerton. The event is free for spectators and $25 for participants. You can grab a burger or pizza and enjoy some good ping pong.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Stay tuned next week for more updates.
And be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at BiolaEV. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.